Good morning and welcome to Daily Briefing. I'm Alex.
And I'm Sarah. August 21st, 2026.
Quick check of the weather here in Parker. 64 degrees Fahrenheit and clear skies right now, heading up to a high of 95 degrees Fahrenheit. Low tonight, 64 degrees Fahrenheit. Today, we are looking at U.S. President Donald Trump proposing massive secondary sanctions against Iran, a record-breaking box office milestone for the Odyssey, and public infrastructure targeted by AI-generated exploit scripts.
There is a lot to unpack this morning, so let's get into it.
All right, turning to global news first. President Donald Trump has proposed what is being called an economic D-Day against Iran, suggesting secondary sanctions that would target any foreign nation trading with Iran.
That is a massive escalation in strategy. The idea is to apply maximum economic pressure, but the fallout could be huge for international trade partners.
Exactly. If foreign countries have to choose between trading with Iran or facing U.S. sanctions, it forces their hands, which is going to complicate diplomatic relations with several key allies.
And it really raises the question of how much deeper the economic hit to Iran will be compared to the collateral damage on global supply chains.
Meanwhile, off the coast of Somalia, pirates have hijacked a cargo ship carrying Turkish weapons.
That is alarming, especially given the cargo involved. Maritime threats along East African trade routes have clearly been climbing back up.
Officials confirmed the incident, and it highlights just how dangerous those waters remain for commercial shipping.
Having advanced weapons fall into the hands of maritime pirates just amps up the security risks for the whole region.
Turning to Europe and the Middle East, major European leaders have issued a joint demand calling on Israel to halt its West Bank settlement construction plan.
This statement really underscores the growing international friction over actions in the Palestinian territories.
It puts a lot of diplomatic pressure on Israel, showing that key European nations are aligning against further expansion of those settlement projects.
It will be crucial to see whether this joint stance leads to any shifts in policy or if the diplomatic standoff deepens.
Over in Russia, internal turmoil is rising. Authorities are actually arresting citizens who protest widespread fuel shortages.
Things have gotten so bad that physical altercations are breaking out right at gas stations, according to reports.
The domestic strain is becoming impossible to hide. The arrests show how far the government is going to suppress public complaints about these supply chain disruptions.
It shows that economic strains inside Russia are reaching a tipping point where everyday citizens are feeling the direct impact at the pump.
Coming up, we shift over to regional developments in India and Tamil Nadu.
Let's look at what is happening in India. Congress leader Rahul Gandhi staged a sit-in protest outside a Delhi police station, demanding an FIR for a victim who sustained severe injuries.
The victim reportedly has 3 pellets in his eye and 200 in his body from pellet gunfire. The demonstration highlights the escalating political tension between opposition leaders and law enforcement over police conduct.
Staying in India, a fatal road accident in Hyderabad involving a speeding Aston Martin has resulted in the death of a woman. The son of an Andhra Pradesh member of parliament has been charged in connection with the crash.
That case is drawing intense public scrutiny because of the high-profile involvement and the luxury vehicle involved.
Finally, in state politics, the Ministry of External Affairs denied travel clearance for Telangana Chief Minister Ravint Reddy's planned trip to the United States.
The government stated the program was not appropriate, citing an inappropriate itinerary, reflecting the strict diplomatic protocols that govern foreign travel by state officials.
Coming up next, we dive into finance and markets, where the U.S. national debt has crossed a massive milestone.
Let's talk markets. We have to start with an eye-watering fiscal milestone. The U.S. national debt has officially breached $40 trillion.
$40 trillions.
That is ringing major alarm bells for international policymakers and domestic markets alike.
It really heightens long-term fiscal risks for the American economy. When you hit a number that high, the cost of servicing that debt becomes a huge drag on everything else.
Exactly, and it leaves very little room for economic shock absorbers if another crisis hits. Everyone is watching how global rating agencies and interest rates react to this.
On the private sector side, Micron just made a massive announcement. They are establishing Micron Research Labs, a $10 billion research hub in Boise, Idaho.
$10 billion for a single innovation facility is a huge statement. What are they focusing on there?
Long-horizon hardware innovation, specifically advanced semiconductor memory research and hardware optimized for next-generation AI applications.
That shows how much capital is flowing into physical infrastructure just to keep up with the computing demands of modern AI.
Speaking of AI money, Artificial Intelligence Research Lab Anthropic is projecting that its upcoming initial public offering could match or even top the record IPO size set by SpaceX.
Surpassing SpaceX in IPO valuation targets would be unprecedented. Investor demand for public exposure to frontier AI firms is just off the charts right now. It really shows that institutional capital is desperate to get a piece of public AI stock, even at these historic valuation projections.
Out in the crypto space, Bitcoin saw a massive move, surging over 25%.
That is a sharp jump. What drove that sudden rally?
It was triggered by a major short squeeze alongside renewed market optimism across the digital asset sector. It marks a huge recovery rally after a long period of price stagnation.
Liquidating those short positions definitely provided fuel for the fire. And speaking of crypto oversight, the US CFTC chairman has put staff on notice.
Right? The chief directed the agency to prepare internal crypto regulations if Congress fails to pass the Clarity Act.
So one way or another, regulatory oversight is coming for digital assets. The agency is not going to wait around for legislative bottlenecks in Congress forever.
That proactive stance shows regulators are determined to establish rules of the road. And Binance is moving fast on the technical side too, launching Agent OS.
What does Agent OS actually do?
It opens up crypto trading directly to autonomous AI agents. The agents can access real-time market data, execute trades, and manage payments, all under user-defined controls.
That bridges artificial intelligence directly with live liquidity infrastructure. Setting strict controls is going to be crucial if people are letting AI bots trade real funds.
When we come back, we will look at critical security flaws and major developments in AI technology.
On the tech side, we have a serious wave of cybersecurity alerts to get through today. First up, a high-severity code injection flaw in GitLab, tracked as CVE 2026-19478.
This one is bad. It came under active exploitation within just days of being publicly disclosed. It allows unauthenticated attackers to modify, delete, or rewrite data in publicly accessible GitLab projects.
That speed of exploitation is terrifying for engineering teams relying on open code repositories. And Microsoft issued a major warning of its own regarding Microsoft Entra ID.
Yes, a maximum severity remote code execution vulnerability with a CVSS score of 10.0 was actively exploited in the wild.
A 10.0 score is as severe as it gets. The good news is Microsoft patched the cloud-based identity service on the backend, so customers do not need to take manual action.
That is the benefit of back-end cloud patches. But the fact that it was caught being actively exploited means enterprise security teams had a stressful morning.
Cisco is dealing with a massive patch release as well. They patched 9 vulnerabilities across their cross-work platforms and secure workload software.
5 of those 9 vulnerabilities carried maximum CVSS scores of 10.0. They allow unauthenticated remote code execution or complete system compromise regardless of the device configuration.
5 10.0 flaws in a single advisory is wild. Admin teams need to apply those Cisco updates immediately.
We also have a concerning report regarding critical infrastructure. U.S. officials issued a warning that attackers are using AI-generated exploit scripts to target Siemens S7 PLCs, an American critical infrastructure.
That is a massive jump in capability. How are the attackers hiding these scripts?
They disguise these malicious reconnaissance and capability development scripts as legitimate monitoring tools, making them much harder for automated defense systems to flag.
Using AI to generate stealthy exploits against industrial control systems is a nightmare scenario for grid operators.
And the vulnerabilities keep coming. Attackers are actively exploiting a command injection flaw in the Zimbra collaboration, tracked as CVE 2026-73570.
That flaw allows unauthenticated remote code execution on unpatched Zimbra deployments via an SNMP weakness. System admins need to check their mail servers right away.
Shifting over to positive AI developments, Hugging Face and DSpark announced LFM 2.5-DSpark.
What kind of performance gains are they claiming with this release?
Up to 3.2 times faster inference throughput on GPS and mobile devices. It includes open-source upstream support for llama.cpp and sglang to cut agentic function calling latency.
Dropping latency for agentic workflows by 3 times is going to make mobile AI applications feel dramatically more responsive.
Wrapping up the tech segment, the White House has issued an updated space transportation policy focused on boosting launch and re-entry capabilities.
The aim is to facilitate significantly higher launch frequencies across both commercial and government space operations.
It shows the administration wants to streamline regulatory approvals so commercial providers can ramp up their launch schedules without hitting federal red tape.
Coming up next, we move to sports and culture, featuring a historical box office record and a high-stakes NFL penalty.
Moving into sports and entertainment, the NFL sent a very clear message to teams about fighting during joint practices.
Both the Dallas Cowboys and the New Orleans Saints were fined $500,000 apiece after multiple brawls broke out during their shared practice sessions.
$500,000 for each franchise is a massive fine for a practice session. The league is not playing around when it comes to maintaining discipline on the field before the season even starts.
Those joint practices get intense, but $1 million total in fines should definitely cool tempers down next time.
Over in global motorsport, Formula One announced that the Dutch Grand Prix at Zandvoort will be discontinued from the racing calendar.
That surprised a lot of fans because Zandvoort has great race management and huge fan turnout. Why drop it?
It comes down to broader commercial, financial, and rotational scheduling shifts across global F1 venues. F1 is balancing limited calendar slots against massive demand from new host markets.
It is tough for traditional European tracks to compete when global commercial fees are escalating so quickly.
In legal news surrounding one of music history's biggest cold cases, jurors in the Tupac Shakur murder trial heard explosive courtroom audio.
They listened to audio of Dwayne "Kef D. Davis explicitly identifying his nephew as the gunman who fired the fatal shots in the 1996 drive-by shooting.
Hearing that admission directly in court marks a huge development in finally bringing legal resolution to a homicide case that has remained open for decades.
Decades later, seeing those details formally presented in front of a jury is surreal for music fans who followed the case for years.
And finally, at the box office, we have a new historical king of the R-rated chart. The Odyssey has officially grossed $1.35 billion globally.
That means it just passed Deadpool and Wolverine to become the highest-grossing R-rated movie of all time.
Hitting $1.35 billion proves there is massive commercial appetite for high-budget theatrical drama releases when the execution is there.
It shows audiences will turn out in absolute droves for event cinema, even with an R rating attached.
From rising global fiscal debt to massive shifts in AI infrastructure and entertainment milestones, today highlights how fast markets and technology are evolving around us.
Thanks for listening to Daily Briefing. We will see you tomorrow.
Take care, everyone.